And the big news is the White Rabbit, the Bray Wyatt returns, finally materialized, right? We got something, right? At the end, we got the Triple H calling card of the show's over. No, it's not, right? And here's the surprise, right? And we got a pig, we got Sister Abigail, we got all the characters of the Firefly Funhouse seemingly come to life. Now,
including the Fiend
as something separate. Bray Wyatt's got like a separate mask now. Mm-hmm. So, and somebody pointed out that all of those characters, even in the Funhouse, are at some point a representation of where his career was at some point in WWE. Like the pig is supposed to be Husky Harris. Mercy the Buzzard is the like NXT swamp leader. You get Sister Abigail's that Eater of Worlds, right? Like the Fiend is the Fiend. So I really, 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 really have liked Bray Wyatt. Wanted Bray Wyatt to get a lot of TV time and a lot of focus because I think he is that creative. But man, I really, really, really don't want a wrestling pig. I don't want a wrestling buzzard. I don't want that shit. I don't want a Comic-Con. I don't want the oddities here, right? Mm-hmm. So I hope that's few and far between. I hope that's like a Finn Balor demon kind of thing.
Yeah.
At best. Because, man, I don't want it. I really don't want it. I didn't like him wrestling in the Fiend mask half the time either, right? Like, I get that at least was a Jekyll and Hyde thing, but I don't want it. It's never been my thing. I'm not a sci-fi guy. I'm not a comic book nerd. I'm not that kind of thing, right? I'm not a horror movie guy. Mm-hmm. I would rather, if he had a faction of 6 people, fine, or whatever it is, cool. And they all went to this weird place once in a while, fine, I guess. But, like, I don't know. I am approaching this, Theo says, but we want the oddities. I know you don't. So, like, did you watch the oddities? Like
when they had Sable, I did.
Remember when they had Sable? Well, yeah, there's no Sable in this that we've seen. So yeah. I don't know, man. I'm approaching it with cautious optimism, right? We got a Bray Wyatt promo on Raw, and like you said, it was kind of like watching the Fun Channel as a kid on the pay-per-view. It was kind of hard to understand, but I felt like that's been consistent with Bray Wyatt, right? Like we kind of can't understand what he's saying in his promo, so I'm a little worried that I'm not gonna. He says, "Bring back Golgo with the giant Cartman doll," and yes, we do. Theo wants the oddities. All right, maybe Theo likes this. I don't dislike it yet because I'm just like, all right, I don't know what this is yet. The word is it's going to be SmackDown exclusive, which will help maybe. SmackDown, I feel like, is the weakest show they're putting out right now, and I'm even including NXT in that. So, I don't know.
Really?
I mean, only because they're putting the Bloodline on Raw a lot. If the Bloodline was exclusive to SmackDown, maybe
gotcha.
not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. I thought this was fine. And I thought and think that the Bray Wyatt debut is the antithesis of the Triple H era so far. It's grasping for straws. If I just present to you the Bray Wyatt experiment, whatever experience that we saw at Extreme Rules, the fuck was it?
Yeah, what is
the fuck was it?
And what's it for?
When I get excited about things that happen, and again, I'm just going to use it because we just talked about it, in AEW, for example, Orange Cassidy winning the All-Atlantic Championship, that is something that happened. I could show a casual viewer, hey, he's the champion. I can get excited for what's going to happen next, but that viewer can be like, oh, so this person won something. What we saw from Bray Wyatt was smoke and mirrors and hop da doo ba da ba da, and it meant nothing. It didn't say anyone's name. It didn't say what his mission statement was.
Nothing.
It was just nothing. Things. And that's where I think, getting to a larger point, Triple H, and I think he's doing well. It's more entertaining than Vince McMahon doing the bullshit. Mia Yim has to act like she has a convulsion to get MVP pinned in a match.
Natty
Remember
farts.
that? Yeah, or farts or shaving FTR's back. It isn't that funny, right? It's more entertaining than that. And I will credit Triple H for that reason. However, all of this is, but this Karrion Kross's back, which means and it's nothing that you're actually watching.
Can I point out that I felt the exact same way about the whole QR code thing? Everybody was like, this is amazing. And I'm like, it's not saying anything.
Yeah.
It's just saying
exactly.
Next week, this is no different than vignettes. None. It's
well,
just making you do the work. It's just making you do the work.
Except with like vignettes, we got more of a character develop. Like when Razor Ramon was walking the streets of Miami, he told you what he was.
Dude, I was getting pissed at the QR code thing for a while with the White Rabbit because it was like, I get it. You're coming back. I get it.
Do it.
You already said you're coming back. Now you just keep going, it wasn't that day. It's a new day. Well, not the new day, but, and so I expected more. I said this. I said if they deliver anybody but Bray Wyatt, there's going to be a disappointment, and it's probably already going to be a disappointment because they're just going to deliver Bray Wyatt. Well, we already
and that's
knew
what
that,
they did,
and we already knew that.
That was my frustration. Is if you watch that episode or that pay-per-view, premium bit, whatever you want to call it, let's watch that 8 months from now, and you tell me what the fuck it was.
And hear me out,
because it was just hello.
Like, guys, again, we're not Comic Con guys. We're not comic book folks. We're not horror movie guys. But look, I know they got a movie level artist to build these things, but I'm like, it was a pig mask. It doesn't look like anything different than somebody would have came to a fucking Halloween party in. It didn't look like a real character. That's the whole thing is like, even if this is a kayfabe world and I believe all this is real, I'm like, why is the guy in the pig mask?
Yeah. No,
it's not a pig. It's a guy in a pig mask. Look at him.
Yeah, and I think we're saying two separate things though. Like, I understand if you like horror movies or you like comics. My biggest critique of this is it meant nothing.
Yeah.
Now it could mean stuff in 6 months from now, but you know what you should do, in my opinion? Be positive and patient. Don't tell me it's the greatest return in WWE recent history because it didn't do anything.
It didn't accomplish anything. It just said Bray Wyatt's back, which we knew that.
That was my disappointment.
Like, that's what I keep saying. I was like, that's why I said we're going to be disappointed when all they present is Bray Wyatt because they've already told us they're going to present Bray Wyatt for 6 weeks now.
And he went after no one. And maybe he does on Friday. Again, we record on a Thursday. And maybe then at that point, I will get excited. He says, my mission statement is to take out Roman Reigns, who took my title 2 years ago. Because if you recall, that was his last match. If I'm being honest,
I don't know that we've ever heard an actual mission statement out of any of the Bray Wyatt incarnations.
Well, you get what I'm saying, though. Like, a direction.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like, he's had feuds, but like, we've gotten the MJF origin story. We've gotten so many look backs in MJF's like reason for being and what he's trying to do. We just got it this week.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not getting that with Bray Wyatt. And I am a guy who's been like advocating the Bray Wyatt character for years now on the show. Like, because it was something different, I need this to mean more, and they're not making it mean anything, unfortunately, and that's sad for me. Like, I just
so far, and again, it's been 2 appearances, but again, so far. So now, Tim, I got a question for you though about this Bray Wyatt. So we got Bray Wyatt, as you mentioned. There's pigs, there's old ladies, there's birds, there's fiends, there's rabbits, there's all this fun stuff.
Like, nobody's wrestling in that, right? Like,
no,
please, like, right?
I think okay. Before I ask you this question, I'll answer that question. I think what they're going to do is the Wyatt Six will come out. They will take off the mask and it will be these fucking people that will be in the Wyatt Six. Now, that aside, here's my question for you. We got Bray Wyatt. We got Karrion Kross. We've got Dexter Lumis. So what are that's my concern is, as we talked about when Triple H was going to take over, it was going to be Metallica songs and leather jackets. And now kind of feels like we're just doing Halloween every week.
So to piggyback off that, the Dexter Lumis thing is another pure example of this. We keep getting Dexter Lumis coming in, kidnapping The Miz or playing mind games with him. But there's no reason why. Why does he care
Miz.
about the Miz? But like, what drives Dexter Lumis to do this? Mm-hmm. What's he after? What purpose does he gain? Does he? If you told me it's because he likes the way Miz's balls smell, then at least that would be telling me a reason. But like, I'm not getting. I mean, who doesn't like the way Miz's balls smell? But but you're not telling me that.
Pause. I don't know what you're saying there. I don't know what you're saying there.
You know what I'm saying. You know. I mean,
my thing is.
You remember that time?
My thing is like. I know it's different shades of spookiness. Dexter Lumis is not 100% a carbon copy of Karrion Kross, and Karrion Kross isn't a carbon copy of Bray Wyatt.
Of course.
However, this makes me feel when we had the time period when Chris Jericho is Dolph Ziggler is the Miz, and they're all doing the same fucking thing. Now we're just doing it with smoke and mirrors and voodoo language.
This is the product we should have been putting out when WWE was on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah. But even then, it's all this. Are we ever going to... So is Dexter Lumis... And again, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm on step 11 here. But they all got to bump into each other sometime. So is Dexter Lumis going to stalk the Fiend or Bray Wyatt or whatever this is? Is Karrion Kross going to put a time thing and switch it on Dexter? Like, they're all the same thing. You know, you can't out spooky each other.
Well, okay, so let's talk about